Fans are starting to worry about Lil Durk's life in prison because Quando Rondo has been attempting to exact revenge on him. According to sources, problems in his cell block led to Lil Durk's quick transfer to prison, and as a well-known rapper, he was probably targeted for commissary and money. The day after the report, both Quando Rondo and the man who removed King Von Lil Tim did interviews instead of acting disrespectfully toward King Von Lil Tim. Unexpectedly, he expressed his desire that it had never occurred, saying that I was just shielding my younger brother. When you eventually discovered that King V was the one responsible, I thought, damn if I did that stupid __. I was like, Shaw ain't no the type of person I am, like, I'm a humble person. I ain't no disrespect to like his mama saying him like that, cause I could easily get on that type of stuff and be clout chasing type, like I ain't on that type. Last night I would still have been alive, that's how I was. I'm a humble person, but it seems like they never really pop off that way, and that would never have happened that way. We'd hear Quando Rondo say something along those lines, adding that Lil Durk had friends and family to support, but he threw it all away. Whoever is on my side has children and a mother who loves them unconditionally, and at the end of the day, bro, all this bullshit that we're talking about is dumb and could have been handled completely differently, even to the point where a song and 3. When it was revealed that Lil Durk would not be placed in protective custody, we finally heard Durk call a close friend from jail. The friend captioned the post, "Just got off the phone with my brother Lil Durk, he's in good spirits, staying positive and trying to get back home to his kids." Million could have come out or something like that, but fans aren't buying it and are worried that Quando could send someone after Durk on the inside to get revenge for Lil Pad. And family hit the main line with the rest of our type without protective custody, and we're not celebrating negativity. We're more than simply street men, we're men of honor and the code, regardless of our financial situation. This call came from a federal prison. I said, I know you, but if you need anything, you know I got your account.
Yeah.
I know how that is, bro. Don't worry, bro. We haven't moved all the money except for that one time before. It was like then. Celebrated once again. As the drill goes down, this is a win for law-abiding Americans who like hip-hop music but dislike some of its elements. Charleston made a similar statement on YMW. Melly, who was receiving subpar treatment in prison, saying that everyone should be treated in this manner, even the YMW. Melly, I am really delighted that he is being abused in prison. Yes, I am quite happy that he is being mistreated in jail. However, when you take a life, you have no right to complain about a mothering thing about being mistreated when you finish controlling the play, but that's when DJ Academics responded and explained why the Durk phone call is a bad look. With all due respect to whoever 900 bra is, again, with all due respect to you, the guy is fighting for his life. I understand that he might be doing it for whatever reason, but I still think it would be a stupid one. Let's say Durk wants to address the public. You say, yo, Durk, we on you, and then you cut it. The fact that Durk was targeted on the inside caused Charleston White to react, believing that it is a true victory because it is a demonic force, a dark energy that came down from Chicago and spread throughout America. I don't think we'll hear drill music ever again, and I don't think drill rappers would ever be popular. It was all history. We don't need to hear you back and forth because a lot of this audio seems to suggest that perhaps this wasn't Durk's original intention when he spoke to the world. Anything he does will go viral, including a conversation about, even if you think it's in your good faith, we don't move off money, now blah, blah, blah. It doesn't sound right, it doesn't sound right, it doesn't sound right, brother. But when you go into the history between Quando Rondo and Durk, it begins with King being removed. As a follow-up to the popular song Queen, Rondo dissed King Von with the lyrics. Key's best friend Lil Tim said he doesn't mess around with his fallen brothers and rap the lyrics. They like Durk, he's a singer. He won't do anything, you can believe whatever you want. I'm talking lights out, we do the dash, and that Durango jumped out with that pipe out, so tell them to pipe down. We watched the news story that came out a few months later after I Had Your Family hit. Searches are now underway for 3 individuals who police claim were involved in an incident between a Savannah rapper and a member of his entourage in Los Angeles. The worst part for Lil Durk is that the feds aren't granting him any kind of bail. Regardless of how hard his attorney tries, the authorities published a live Instagram video of Durk on the day Lil P.O. died, explaining and persuading the court that he was just broadcasting to have an alibi for when he was questioned. Folks, when someone said, slap car, say slide for con, he said, bro, this is real water, you all will be all over for real. Hey, I know where to be to get blood, he said. You have to know your jewelry, so if someone wants me to give him a shout out for some jewelry, I'm making sure in that vault. Even during the live stream, Durk laughs at someone telling him to slip, yet it's not shocking that Lil Durk is imprisoned without the possibility of a bond. According to one account, OTF members discovered OTF Jam hiding in an Atlanta crib. According to sources, Jam was disciplined for snitching on Durk, and they even have a photo of the SC where OTF Jam was. We heard another rapper criticize Durk for the Lil Pab hit, but Jams remained silent in the streets. Brick Baby added, you can't claim Durk never slid for King Vow anymore since he got Lil P. This is just according to the indictment claimed that 5 Chicago gang members with ties to Lil Durk OTF were hired to kill Quando Rondo in LA incident where Lil P was unalive. If found guilty, the suspects face penalties. However, was this an attempt to say that no more? They put you as, oh yeah, because of face. Wait, no, like you can't say that no more. Oh, because of FG Cash talking who federal charges in California cause Lil P. Oh, but I'm just saying that, all in all, the evidence that Jams gathered on Lil Durk is pretty alarming. We saw it announced that the Lil Durk OTF case is beginning to see the first pieces of evidence in court, and rumors circulating the court indicate that there is footage from OTF Jam documenting the planning process of OTF catching Quando Rondo's crew. OTF members and fans are curious as to how Jam managed to pull this off, so they started searching through Lil Durk's old Instagram accounts and discovered that Jam was touching his. This is just one of many instances in which Jam wore a wire G lie. For example, back in the day when I was growing up, I was wondering why Jam turned against Durk. It turns out that Jam was arrested for another firearms possession charge after being released from a 12-year prison sentence, which could have resulted in him serving multiple years in prison. Jam knew he couldn't do it again, so he chose to sign a deal and snitch on Lil Durk, but what's sad is that Durk paid him $50,000 after he was released from prison. What's the name? Stay cry, steady crying. Feed him, see that my baby why babies ain't it. I got to hold my money like this too much crazy though. Us up there doing all this sneak diz and internet games and all this money, do something like go bro got out. What you know how many years I did all. Yeah, your last V1212, that boy. Popped out 12 years. How Durk paid for his internal security and provided him with a crib and a vehicle upon his release. Since you just returned home and I've been home for a little more than a year, well, a little more than a year and a half in Florida. I've been on LinkedIn for 12 years, but no one knows my name. They tell me, how did you even get LinkedIn with just OT Pira together? I've met them, but I knew them before because he's a very great bro. Panicked by the scene, the court files also show that the lyrics told me that they got an address and the location. This involves Brick Baby, he said, because he is loyal to him, he would have dropped Quando Rondo's location if Lil Durk had asked. So, you lined up somebody from your hood like, listen, I didn't, but at the end of the day, what's wrong with giving my friend the address? And defendant grants supplied a BMW and an Infiniti. Why is it always an Infiniti and the age try too specific? Lindsay and co-conspirator 2 also possess firearms, including one that had been altered to function as a fully automatic machine gun to murder TB. Grant, in order to take shots of these two dreadful white automobiles, Wilson Jones Houston and Lindsay drove a BMW Infiniti to a hotel in downtown Los Angeles where TB was staying. They followed TB inside his hotel and followed his black Escalade to a marijuana shop on Flower Street. Houston drove the Infiniti to an alley behind the Beverly gas station and parked the car there so that defendant Jones, Lindsay, and K-Par 2 could try to kill TB. He was following the stupid Escalade and tracking the black Escalade to a gas station on Beverly Boulevard. The killings of Quando Rondo's cousin were reportedly committed by Lindsay and K-Par 2. All of these co-conspirators, whose names have not yet been made public, are obviously going to face charges and are most likely already in custody. I'm not even sure, but Durk is one of them, so we received. Here are some photos of them shooting the black Escalade on the left and right, so it's necessary to blur everything. Sorry lads, but Houston's defense propels Infiniti. Following SR Defense's death at the hands of the conspirator, Jones Lindsay led the alley behind the Beverly gas station. Jones, Grant Wilson, the Seaspear, spoke about money to defend Jones and Lindsay for the shooting earlier that day, among other things, when Houston and K-Par 2 traveled to a hamburger eatery in LA County. Talking while munching on cheeseburgers. Yeah, we don't have to pay to murder him, so let's do it. Stupid, holy __. Apparently, someone is snitching. Yes, how do they know what they were talking about? How do they know that CN Spear 2 is a snitch? How do they know all of this? For defense. Co-SP3 bought plane tickets from San Diego, California to Chicago, and CN Spirit 2nd may be a snitch. Wilson Jones, Lindy Houston, and the others took a plane from San Diego back to Chicago. Defendant Wilson compensated defendant Jones and Lindsley on behalf of the co-conspirator for their involvement in the murder. These boys are so messed up that it's not even funny. If they have enough proof that someone turned on Durk, he could spend the rest of his life in prison. This is bad for Durk because he just threw away his entire career and now has the key to the city. That's all for this video, guys. Please hit subscribe. Joe membership, I love you all, but let me know when the music stops. He mentioned that Lil Durk actually just got the keys to the city of Chicago, so that's crazy work right there. I won't lie though, a lot of people were making fun of him for not sliding for Von, and when that whole situation with Quando Rondo happened, things like that where Rondo was crying and Quando Rondo dropped his flag because his. At the end of the day, many people are wondering why Durk would sacrifice his career to slide for his home, but in reality, bro, DK has been through a lot. You know, people make fun of his eyes and the way they look, but if you really do your research, Derek lost a lot of people in his lifetime because of the streets. You understand what I mean? For example, Durk is a part of the streets. saying, Jam, he said, the judge declared that they would use Lil Durk's lyrics against him in addition to OTF Jam snitching. His lyrics appeared in the court files where Lil Durk raps looking on the news and seeing your son screaming no no, which is Durk basically making fun of Quandu for crying about Lil Pop, a passenger in that car. Get out of that jam, I give him 50. Hey, he doesn't have to ask again, bro. Oh, this, my boy, he lost his boy who did it could be in around 9 out of 10, and had he asked me, I probably would have been if he had even asked anyone if this was true. But 10 times out of 10, like I said, can I leak a bar? I said, if he makes the car right now, I'm right. To further implicate Lil Durk, they played an old video of V with 3 of the suspects, which showed that Durk knew these men and had connections with them. So if you're good, boss, you're good, my boys, go. Despite the case appearing to be very concerning for Lil Durk, there is hope. I'm not sure if they have a strong case against Durk Banks because we saw Kodak Black's lawyer share, but I believe they have a long way to go to prove the conspiracy against him. As for Durk Banks, so far I've seen one text that says, don't have them associate my name with any kind of flights that they're taking. That's not a good text, but is it the only one? That doesn't mean that in and itself doesn't stand alone. Circumstantial, but as I mentioned, we have to wait and see what additional evidence they have. If they have a snitch and they have audio or video recordings of him saying something, I believe that's a lot different from, say, hey, just make sure you don't associate my name with these guys, because it could be he's blaming, Grant or one of these other guys and saying like, hey, these guys are going to do some crazy stuff. And he's like, hey, listen, make sure it doesn't associate with me. It's still very early in the case, but we heard Kodak's lawyer continue to say that he believes Durk Banks can be released if no one else snitches. It all depends on the U.S. attorney and the USA involved, and if they want this person badly enough, they'll make very attractive deals for these individuals. However, I'm hesitant to say that they have a slam dunk case on Durk Banks. What does a very attractive deal look like, in my opinion? They're going to have forensics, so they'll take whoever is least responsible, and in my opinion, they'll approach him and make a deal with him. That will be the most attractive, and if that guy doesn't make a deal, then they'll move on to the next guy. So that's usually what happens. Go for the lowest hanging fruit. Whoever didn't actually know the guy, or maybe someone who was involved but didn't actually start with the lowest hanging fruit. The intriguing thing about the indictment, in my opinion, is that it wasn't simply money. They say, oh, it could have been money or it could have been career advancement. This is the person you assume would flip the man who didn't really have that much participation.